Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today on the bench I have a watch that honestly looks like it belongs in the scrap pile. It's a 15 jewel watch from the late 40s to early 50s, and it's certainly seen its fair share of history. I'll address the obvious first. The crown is worn down to a nub and the stem is almost completely rusted. Curiously, the rust stops at the threads, so maybe the internals have been spared. The acrylic has yellowed and has some crazing on it. The case has a good deal of wear and plating loss as well. Here's the case back and why I was crazy enough to buy this watch. This watch was made by the Solvil watch company, which was founded by Paul Ditisheim, who is personally my favorite watchmaker. Paul Ditisheim sold the rights to the Solvil and Titus brands, as well as his own name as a brand in the 1920s, to industry giant Paul Vogel. So while this watch was made after that transaction, it still has appeal to me as a fan of his work. Paul Ditisheim really isn't a well-known name, even in most horological circles, but in my opinion he deserves to be remembered much like the other greats such as Patek Philippe, Rolex, and other similarly well-known brands. His improvements in the field of chronometers, as well as collaborative research on watch and clock lubricants, not to mention his numerous Q Observatory awards, really cement his position at the top as far as horologists are concerned. But enough blabbering, let's take a look inside and begin the service. The case back has some nice perlage, as well as some rust along the rim. Thankfully this is just surface rust and can easily be removed with a fiberglass scratch brush. There's also a lack of service marks in the case back, so I'm probably the first to service this watch since it left the assembly line. That's the rust removed from the case back, so let's move on to the internals. Here's the movement. It doesn't look too bad so far. There's some rust on the detent screw. The balance isn't moving. It looks like the movement is seized up. These case screws signal that the movement is removed from the front, so let's do that. The acrylic is really scratched up. It looks like somebody took some sandpaper to it. Here's a better look at the dial. Most of the minute markers are missing or damaged. I'm no Rembrandt, but I'll probably try to restore them as best I can. There's some marks here as well. This makes me think somebody tried removing the hands previously and was quite clumsy doing so. This is just a plastic spacer. It helps the movement fit more snugly in the case. You can see the rust in the case tube. I'm hoping that it stayed on the stem and didn't creep into the movement too far. The dial has some corrosion on it as well. Thankfully it didn't spread too far onto the face side. Here's the dial side. The caliber is an FEF 190. I'm concerned with this discoloration around the fourth wheel here. There is some rust in the keyless works. Surprisingly, the rust didn't seem to spread to the other metal parts. This is all just dust from the stem. Here's the hour wheel. The set lever spring is broken, so I'll order a replacement. This is the clutch lever spring. And here's the clutch lever, pretty grimy. Here's the winding pinion, surprisingly free of rust for the most part. The intermediate wheels look good. The cannon pinion looks fine. And that's the dial side fully disassembled. This rust here will clean right off. The plates are plated brass, so it's just sitting on the surface. Now I'll remove the ratchet wheel. There's a little grime underneath. Now I'll unscrew the barrel bridge. I'll check the barrel arbor for play. There is a little bit, so I'll close that up. Thankfully, the rust was localized to the stem and didn't travel internally. Now I'll unscrew the gear train bridge and get a look at the gears. They are shockingly clean. They look brand new apart from some minor grime. The jewels are in good condition as well. All the pivots look good. I'd wager this watch was rarely worn. Let's remove the balance and get a look at the pivots. The balance pivots look good, but the hairspring is going to need a lot of work. Let's take a look at the pallet fork now. Looks like old lubricant on the pivot jewels for the pallet fork. Generally, you don't want to oil there. The mainspring barrel is bone dry, but the spring itself looks fine. And that's the watch fully disassembled. I'll be back once it's reassembled and ready to go. And here's the movement. I had to do a lot of hairspring adjustment just to get this running, so it's not as perfect as I'd like it to be. The timing has about a 35-second maximum variance between positions. That's about what you can expect from an unadjusted movement. I could probably improve that with more hairspring tweaks, but the more you work a hairspring, the more likely it is to break. Here's the watch cased up. Quite an improvement from where it started. Here's a before picture. And here's the after. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.